tell us something about yourself?
Ma'am, my name is Sunil. I have my roots in a family of farmers and army jawans. I completed most of my schooling from RAD Senior Secondary School. Then I went to Ravindranath Tagore University for
1 minute. Your father is retired as on the Subedar Major, but what was his rank and which was his regiment?
Ma'am, his regiment was 11 Mechanized Infantry.
And his rank?
Rank was Subedar Major, ma'am.
So why even honorary?
Yes, sir. He got it while retiring. So, as an honor for the service to the nation, they provide this honorary rank.
They give a slight increase in the rank.
No, but he retired as what?
As honorary Subedar Major only he retired.
But while he was in service, he would have been 1 rank junior.
He was Subedar Major. Subedar he was.
Subedar, not a
He was Subedar, and when he retired, he was made Subedar Major honorary.
Yes, sir. Before 2 months of retiring.
Okay. Please excuse the slightly. Now, you are interested in army technology. Now, can you tell me what has come out in the Ukraine war, which has changed the idea of how to fight a war?
Ma'am, Russia-Ukraine war teaches us many lessons from the army perspective. Like Russia was considered most advanced army, but it failed to achieve its objectives, which are because of the strategy Russia adopted and the failure of its defense technology. Like drones, they did not use properly, and they had to rely on Iran. Iran was supplying Russia drones. And when the advanced technology which Europe and the USA gave to Ukraine provided.
Which advanced technology? Can you mention some items?
Yes, ma'am. Mars rocket, which was used extensively by Ukraine. And now there is talk of providing tanks also, ma'am, heavy armored vehicles. They provided drones also, ma'am, for the kamikaze drones and surveillance.
What do you think was the Russians? In fact, everybody thought that the Ukrainians would not stand up for more than a few weeks at max. But it has now been over 1 year. Why do you think? What was the mistake that the Russians made when they attacked Ukraine?
Ma'am, the first was Russia thought the Ukrainian people will stand up and welcome them, the Russian army. That was the anticipation, and they failed there. Secondly, they underestimated the resolve and the technological strength of the Ukrainian army. And the major boost was given by USA and Europe by providing them continuously weapons.
Was there any other error that they had made?
I am not aware about.
Isn't there a saying something about logistics?
Logistics support, yes, ma'am, was very crucial. And the Russian army.
What is the mistake they made in logistics? They said saying something that, amateurs talk tactics, professional soldiers talk logistics. So what was the mistake in logistics that the Russians made?
Ma'am, I am not aware about the exact mistake they made.
Now you have studied computer science. How would that help improve the provision of services for people from the government?
Ma'am, computer science might help in various ways for enhancing the service delivery. Like Digital India program is there, under which the portals like mygovernment.in is there, DigiLocker scheme is there. So through these, a citizen can avail the government services and they don't have to rely on.
What areas are still not covered by computerization and should be covered?
Ma'am, almost in every area like health, education, financial inclusion, providing the PDS, e-PDS system is there. So every area government is trying to cover through the digitalization of economy and the country. But the digitalization has not been encompassing the whole country. So certain regions are lacking in digital connectivity. Certain regions are lacking in digital literacy also, ma'am. And the complete digitalization of Gram Panchayats has also not been done.
Okay. What is the government doing towards energy security?
Government has taken many steps, ma'am. First of all, the push towards renewable energy. National Mission for Solar Energy, National Mission for Hybrid Energy is there, and Power for All initiative is there. Secondly, ma'am, government is securing deals with nations like Arab nations also, and recently there was a spike in importing our energy needs from Russia also due to better prices they were offering.
What is our commitment to non-renewable to renewable energy by 2040?
Ma'am, under Glasgow Pact, we committed around 50% of our energy requirements to be met by renewables by 2030. I'm not exactly aware about the 2040 target.
Okay, thank you.
So you're aware of the major overhaul made in the way the army recruits jawans now?
Yes, sir.
What's it called?
Agnipath scheme is called.
What is the scheme, and then what's your view on the scheme?
Sir, under the scheme, government will, or the armed forces will recruit soldiers from 17.5 to 21 years old, and after giving a service of 4 years, they will retain 25% of them, and the rest 75% will retire with a lump sum amount of 11.71 lakhs. I think, sir, this is a very futuristic step and a very long pending reform for our armed forces, which has its own benefits in the future.
Does it have any negatives also?
It has certain limitations, sir, like the 75% of Jawans who will be retiring after 4 years of service, they will be finding it very difficult to get into another job, and there is no provision of pension also for them. So the issue was raised with the government, but government has done many improvements.
So how would, if you given the chance to improve on the scheme, what would you do?
Sir, the only thing which I would like to do is to enhance the limit from 25% to 50%.
Okay. And the remaining 50%, would you recommend that they be guaranteed some jobs in the private sector? So, because they're all trained, they're all efficient, they're all patriotic, they're all disciplined, they're all hardworking.
Yes, sir, but guaranteeing job will be a discrimination toward other youth of the country. So I will try to provide them skills. Bridge courses might be provided to them so that they might be inducted into the private sector. There might be some provisions for them to induct into central armed police forces or state police forces.
Now, I see that you very fond of wrestling, right?
Yes, sir, I try to.
So, tell me one thing, what is your weight category?
Sir, my weight is currently 91 kg.
So, which category do you come in?
Sir, I do not play wrestling as such.
Okay.
I was a part of a committee who conducted a wrestling championship in my district.
Right. So, if you were actually doing wrestling yourself,
Yes.
which category would you have come under?
So I have under 71 kg.
No, what's it called? What's it called? Is it called welterweight or heavyweight or lightweight or?
Heavyweight I would have come in, sir.
Now, you're aware of the controversy surrounding the Wrestling Foundation of India, the Wrestling Federation of India?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us something about it?
Yes, sir. There are certain allegations against the WFI president, Sri Brijbhushan Singh Saran. The allegations are about sexual harassment of the women athletes, misappropriation of funds, and the issue of random trials, which happens from time to time.
So, on a larger issue, do you think it's a good thing to have politicians heading federations for years on end, who have absolutely no knowledge of the sport and use it for as a platform for other purposes?
Sir, there is nothing wrong in politicians heading such institutions, but the better thing will be to appoint a sportsperson only as head of these sports bodies, because they very well know the circumstances, the problems the sportsperson are facing, and their probable solutions. So I think appointing sportsperson as the head of these federations will be a very good idea.
You see, this present day,
Yes, sir.
we have we have heard the RSS chief saying that Hindus are at war for 1,000 years.
Yes, sir.
External and internal.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this statement you must have heard.
Yes, sir. I read that in a newspaper.
Now, do you think they are actually at war for the last 1,000 years?
No, sir. In my opinion, they are not at war because our society has been inclusive, not for the 1,000 years, for last 2,000 years and more than that. We are inclusive and accepting of other ideologies and religion, faith. So we are a very pluralistic society in itself, sir.
Okay. So, this idea of republic,
Yes, sir.
republic, we celebrated republic yesterday. The idea of forming a republic,
Yes, sir.
What is its significance?
Sir, republic basically means there is no hereditary monarch, but it is directly or indirectly elected. Thus, head of the state is directly or indirectly elected, and all the public places are open for whole public. There is no restriction as such. So that is the idea of republic, sir.
Okay, but now suppose it's not just hereditary, absence of a hereditary monarch or hereditary head of the state. So it is something much more than that.
I'm not aware about.
Okay, fine. Okay, so can you throw some light on this issue of basic structure of the Constitution?
Yes, sir. So basic structure of constitution was propagated by Supreme Court in 1973 in case Vananda Bharti case. So it is not well defined and it has no concrete definition of its own. But from time to time, Supreme Court tells through its judgment what constitutes the basic structure of our country, like secularism, it is there, welfare, it is there, independence of judiciary, it is there under the basic structure of doctrine, sir.
Okay, now you see this collegium, debate on collegium,
Yes, sir.
which appoints the judges for the Supreme Court report.
Yes, sir.
The Vice President of India also had joined the debate and all that. The government wants its nominee in the collegium.
Yes, sir.
Now, suppose, what is your stand on this? Do you think there should be a government nominee in the collegium?
Sir, I do not support government dominance, neither I support judicial dominance. I think there should be a fair check and balance process, like judicial appointment committee should be appointed. And it can be appointed on the basis of monetary policy committee, in which RBI has 3 representatives and 3 representatives are by government, and RBI is working fairly independent. On that criteria, I think we can create a body, sir. So there is neither the dominance of government, neither the dominance of judiciary. And it will uphold also the separation of power under Article 51 of our Constitution, sir. 50, sorry.
Okay. You see, the President of India in our Republic Day address, she says Constitution is supreme.
Yes, sir.
She made a great statement. But then there is some kind of a reflection on the basic structure of the Constitution.
Yes, sir.
By some important functionaries of our Republic.
Yes, sir.
So, do you think there is a contradiction when the President says Constitution is supreme? But some people who are occupying high position, they say that the basic structure, has robbed off the Parliament's power to amend the Constitution.
Sir, our Constitution was formulated as such so that it can be changed or modified as according to the needs of society. So I think basic structure is that represents that part of Constitution only, and I do not think it challenges the supremacy of our Constitution. Rather, it complements it and allows it to be accommodative of the changes that are happening in our society.
So you mean to say that Constitution's basic structure should be defended?
Yes, sir. The basic structure of Constitution should be defended.
And you see, sometime back there was a commission established by the government of Atal Bihari Vajpayee to review the working of the Constitution.
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of this?
NCRWC under M. Venkatachalya.
Yes, with Chairman Supreme Court.
Yes, sir.
So, do you think there is a necessity again to review the working of the Constitution?
As there are many objections raised against the constitutional bodies and against the like you said, sir, basic structure doctrine. I think there must be another commission to review the working of the constitution and suggest the reforms, keeping in mind the changing times.
Changing terms. The other point which I wanted to ask you, there is a lot of thinking going on for the last several years about the greater representation of women in Parliament.
Yes, sir.
So how do you think it should be done?
Sir, I think the way forward is to enact a legislation which secures 33% of the women representation. I would like to say it should be 50% because they comprise almost around 50% of our population, so they need equal representation. So the legislation should be there, first of all, to provide them statutory backing. Secondly, sir, awareness should be there among the women of our society so that they should come forward and ask for their rights and their representation at the highest body of our parliament.
Why this 33%? Why not 40%, 25%? Why 33? Can you throw some light on this?
Sir, I'm not aware about the exact reason behind setting a 33% limit because logically it should be 50%. So I would not be able to answer that question, sir. Why it is
Tell us the countries in which there is more than 33% women there in Parliament.
In Rwanda, I think there is more than 33%, sir. In Scandinavian countries also, there is more than 33% representation of women. I cannot exactly recall the name of those countries.
Good, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
In the context of selection of judges to this apex court,
Yes, sir.
what's the situation in US? How do they do?
Sir, the judges are appointed by president over there. So they serve lifelong.
Yes. So the judges are appointed by the executive.
Yes, sir.
So why can't we have the same here?
Sir, because that will promote favoritism and it will hamper the independent working of judiciary because the judge appointed by the executive will have certain kind of allegiance towards the person who appointed him. So to avoid that situation, I think.
So you think in America they only follow the judiciary follows the executive directions?
I'm not aware about the exact instances where judiciary follows the executive, sir, but it is in the human tendency to be somewhat alleged to show some allegiance towards the person who.
So we should not.
Yes,
we
sir.
should not give it into the hands of the executive.
Not completely into the hands of.
What's wrong if the judges appoint judges? What's wrong?
Sir, that also promotes favoritism.
Why? Who has tell me instances of favoritism?
Sir, there is phenomena of uncle judges in our Supreme Court and other high courts.
Tell me one thing. You are a Supreme Court.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. And your brother or your someone is very competent senior lawyer in the Supreme Court.
Yes, sir.
So he should be disqualified.
No, sir, he should not be disqualified. He should be selected on the basis of merit.
So what is there? What if the judges find him meritorious?
But, sir, in this process, other judges other lawyers who are equally important and competent are being neglected.
Why should they be neglected? If there is integrity of selection. You see, it's actually question of integrity.
Yes, sir.
Human integrity amongst us.
Yes, sir.
If we have a high degree of integrity,
Yes, sir.
but you are there and another person is there, but you may be my cousin, you may be my wife, but I am not selected. I have to have the integrity of selecting the right person.
So conflict of interest will be there, and if there are checks and balances on the integrity, then that will be like cherry on cake.
So what do you want? How do you want it to go? You want someone to be there who will keep a check?
Yes, sir. I think Chief Justice of Supreme Court or 2 or 3 other senior judges from the court, and similarly 3 or 4 representatives from the government, so that there is a coherence between the government and judiciary also, and there is a very fair.
There will be a complete logjam. The decisions will never be made. The executive will say, "Oh, sorry, we don't agree to you." The judiciary will say, "Sorry, we don't agree to you."
So as I recently gave the example of Monetary Policy Committee, it has been working very fine by having representative from government also and the RBI also.
So that's it. The monetary policy is a very specialized small part.
Yes, sir.
Here it is a question of not only the country, the entire nation, it is a question of constitutional protection and the division of power between the various arms of the government and the various arms, government, the executive, legislature. So it's a complicated thing.
Yes,
It's
sir.
not so simple, no?
Yes, sir.
That you have 3 judges and you have 3 MPs.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 6 of you get it together in this room and select.
Yes, sir. But as far as the question of confrontation is concerned, right now the collegium system is having judges only. But then also there are vacancies in high courts.
That always
So-
be there. I'll tell you, that's a different issue.
Yes, sir.
It's not because of this problem that there are vacancies.
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Because government is not appointing, sir. The judges being recommended by the.
So the country has been talking about bringing in judicial reforms.
Yes, sir.
How do you think those reforms can come in?
Sir, at different levels of judiciary, different reforms are needed. Like at the highest level, I told the collegium system needs to be reformed. At the low level of judiciary, I think All India Judicial Services should be included, so that there is a complete pipeline of talent is there for the appointment in judiciary, and the judicial vacancies that are there can be filled. And other, sir, infrastructure should be there. For that, we can create something like National Infrastructure Judicial Fund. And from there, the requirements can be meted out. Sir, e-courting system can also be employed, so that the backlog of vacancies, backlog of cases can be cleared.
You are from Haryana. What is your view on KHAP?
So, CAPs are a social organization that work for dispute resolution and taking decision on socially important issues.
But they are sometimes not in sync with our judicial systems.
Yes, sir.
So what is your say on that?
It is true, sir. Sometimes CAP or in the older times, they used to pronounce the verdicts which were against our modern values, ideas, and ethos. But sir, recently CAPs have been taking a very liberal and tolerant approach, keeping in tune with the changing times. And that is a social force which we need to recognize and we can use for the betterment of society, sir. Because their social approval is very high among the people. So we can use that, sir.
Use that for what?
Use that for social mobilization. We can use it, sir. Like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan is there. So for that, we can use the CAP because they have a sway over the population. Like, sir, unscientific cultivation of crops is going on in Haryana, if we take a particular example. So there was a CAP meeting, and they opened Keet Saksharta Kendra, banning the cultivation of paddy in certain areas where soil was getting salinized. So in another CAP meeting, they banned dowry, which the government is not able to do using legislations. But when the CAP verdict was there, there was a significant reducement in the dowry, sir. So in that way, we can use them.
Are you aware of the concept of legal pluralism?
Sorry, sir, I am not aware.
Right. Thank you very much, Sunil. Would you wait outside?
Yes,
We'll call you in. We'll just discuss what happened.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Come, face it. So Sunil, how do you think you did?
Ma'am, I think I did good, but there is a lot of improvement scope.
Okay, now let us say first that you're an excellent candidate. We're very happy with you, and we're sure you'll do very well. Okay, but don't get overconfident. Now, a couple of things. One is keep your button open, because closing it, opening it, it makes it. Knock on the door, say, "Can I come in?" Then come in, stand there. Let the chairperson say, "Sit down." Let's sit. You can say hello to me because I'm the lady member, and just look at the others. If there is a man here and a lady somewhere else, you can wish the lady. Okay, got that? Right. Now, you have a tendency to repeat the question asked to you while you're thinking.
Okay.
Try not to do it. It's not that it's bad, it's just that instead of doing that, it would be better to sit and think for a second rather than just saying the same thing again.
Okay.
Okay? I liked a lot of your answers. The one regarding war for 1,000 years was a very good answer. Your answer to the car was also very good. By the way, regarding the USA judges, I know it's my colleague's question, but it's not just nominated by the president. They have to be nominated by the president and approved by the Senate, which means both Parliament and the executive.
Okay.
And we can't do that in India because we have a single.
Integrated judiciary.
Yes, it's not separate. So there's not possible here. Be careful, don't bluff if you're not sure you don't know the question. You very well said, I don't know, sir. Fine. You're not expected to know everything. Nobody can know everything.
Okay.
However, if you've written the wrestling as your hobby,
I have not written wrestling as my hobby.
no, it's not. No, it's what have you?
No. Organizing wrestling.
No. Fine, and organizing wrestling, but what I'm saying is the moment you say something, when you organize something, you also know about it. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Then you have to have at least some basic knowledge about that sport.
Okay.
So how can you organize it unless you know what the sport is?
Otherwise, don't write. You see what's the problem is the moment you mention organizing wrestling, it will be presumed by everyone
That you know something.
that you know everything.
So the categories of wrestling, I mean, you should know your weight is 91, whether it's super heavyweight, is heavyweight, welterweight, lightweight, flyweight. You should then know.
Who has won the latest, thing?
So
What is the distance?
there'll be a question on wrestling then. So you now that you've only committed to wrestling, you please now read about it.
Okay, sir.
Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Or say that organizing events is my hobby. Otherwise.
Event management is but moment you
If
say
you don't
wrestling,
know, you say that I organize events, it happened to be wrestling.
Okay.
Okay? That way means you can sneak out of it. Alright? Anything that you would like to say?
No. I think all of us are very impressed with you. And you can just pick up few topics. Very little by
So date has not been announced yet.
so that this means you should have some
Yes, sir. 1.5 month I have.
1.5 months. So I think you keep facing such interviews and then pick up some, let's say 30-40 topics on which you can read articles on them. You can listen to some of the discussions in YouTube. See, for instance, basic structure. You can listen to the wonderful discussion with Faizan Mustafa, former Vice Chancellor of Nalsar. And similarly, you can read an article by him on his Tamil Nadu governor skipping a paragraph from his address. Questions were not asked to you regarding that.
Sir, the discussion is on YouTube.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
See, now you go to YouTube, go to search, you say discussion on
Basic structure of
basic
doctrine.
structure.
Thank you.
Faizan Mustafa was discussing on the issue of basic structure with Asutosh. Asutosh, who is the founding editor of satyahindi.com. Satyahindi.com is a very serious YouTube channel. Very serious YouTube channel. You will enjoy the discussion. Okay.
I will go and watch.
Yeah. And then similarly, articles in Indian Express, articles in. Yesterday there was a wonderful article.
On basic structure, sir.
There are several articles. Dunker's basic structure. This is an article in YouTube. Sorry, Wire. So similarly, I am writing an article on basics of the sorting. You can search for my articles. Just write Essence House articles.
Yeah, of course, I will, sir.
I think maybe day after tomorrow it will be published. So YouTube channel discussions are very, very illuminating. Please listen to that.
Also, you written Indian defense technology issues you follow. There will be certainly questions on that. So, what does DRDO do? What's happened to Tejas aircraft?
Yes.
The indigenous airplanes that are being made by HAL. What's happened to those? Are we actually competent to make cutting edge military hardware? These kind of so all the kind of things you must know.
The latest on space defense.
Yes, sir. Space defense ASAT test was there, and
I suggest, apart from everything else, you have time. You read 2 newspapers a day, Indian Express perhaps, and 1 financial newspaper. Make bullet points. Take out, say, up to 50 major issues that rise, and every day you go through the newspaper and add or whatever, and keep going over them, so that you will have that information at the back of your head. If they ask, it will come like this. So think of talking like bullet points, tuck, 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 tuck. Your answers were perfectly correct, but you can be a little more focused and a little more brief, please.
I think you're wonderful.
thank you, sir. Sir, was that debate on the judiciary? Should I drag it or what should I do?
That's
No,
also
no,
good,
no.
right?
Please. Again, there was a discussion with Justice Madan Lokur in the Wire on this collegium issue, because Justice Madan Lokur was, one of the judges was part of the collegium. He was the Supreme Court judge. And that discussion is very, how the collegium functions. There is no space for government nominee because the scrutiny of the judges are taking place at a variety of levels. Opinion comes to the Chief Minister of the state concerned, if it is a High Court judge. Opinion comes to the Governor of the state. Opinions comes from the judges of the Supreme Court who are judges of that High Court. So you see, then what is the role of the government nominee?
Okay, sir.
See, when every scrutiny is being done at a variety of levels, so you please understand how I never knew. After listening to Madan Lokur, he explained. So, Justice Madan Lokur's current Thapar's interview with Madan Lokur.
On the wire it is.
Why? You just Google current Thapar's interview with Madan Lokur. YouTube channels are wonderful.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
you get a
The
lot of
process is
information.
very strict. It is not so simple.
It's a very long, drawn-out process. It's not that easy. So, I tell you, the best way is to just close your eyes, go to the YouTube, put a earphone, listen to the debates.
Not everybody. And the Wire is a very good source.
Yeah.
Don't go to any old source. The Wire they check.
The wire as a YouTube channel also.
Yes.
The videos are very neutral. The Wire.in, but Wire is very critical of the establishment. So take the facts only.
I was about to say,
Don't be
don't take too much of views from there because it might.
Take the facts on there, use your own.
Okay, sir.
Don't be critical of the regime. You should not do.
But I think your discussion was all fine. It at least presented that you are clear-headed.
You are very clear.
At least whatever you are thinking, you are clear about it. You are not just saying.
That was very impressive.
Yeah, whatever you say, just have a good
You
reason.
reply to
You must be convinced yourself.
reply to 1,000-year war, it's a 1,000-year-old war.
That was very
It's
good.
very impressive and that's very nice.
I think I also told you that is a very good answer.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, have you anything you want to ask us?
Well, that was the only thing. I'm very much satisfied with the discussion, ma'am, with you.
All the best.
Faizan Mustafa's,
Of course, sir, I will
legal
go to
awareness YouTube channel. It's fantastic.
No, listen, here's a piece of paper and here's a pencil. Note down. You're never going to remember otherwise. All the things that he's suggesting that you see.
Professor Faijan Mustafa.
YouTube with
Yeah,
Papa.
अभी तक नहीं आया हमारे पास जस्टिस मदन लुकुर और रिवाज तो कहना
He was ex-judge of the Supreme Court, presently the judge of Fiji.
जस्टिस मदन लुकुर इंटरव्यू विद करंट था
And regarding technology, the print has a very good thing. They have a correspondent. What's his name? That gentleman who gives information on you go at the wire. The wire and the print are both very good.
Defense technology, completely be thorough with it. So you have written it there. Once you have written it, someone who's a techie sitting there, you're going to make your life as if you don't know.
Yes,
And it's a hot topic also. Which is defense indigenization is.
satyahindi.com.
Satya Hindi.
Yeah, some videos, interviews on uniform civil code. satyahindi.com. It's very good.
I have heard it. I am also not aware of that.
Every day, why is it code? Very teaching. I listen to the 10 o'clock Asutosh ke baad. हम लोग का कैसा चलता है?
Okay.
अभी तो
Well.